The Rockies beginning their second week of what is a 13-game homestand, and so far so good. They're 4-2 on the homestand. Actually, it'd be 5-1 on the homestand. My math isn't too good. Is it 5-2?
Yeah, the Cardinals took 2.
That's right.
Split it.
My math is off a little bit. Rockies, I know this, have won 5 of 6, 4 in a row.
There you go.
Ozzie Guillen, and there's Jamie Quirk. And the situation with Clint Hurdle is he is with his daughter, unfortunately, and Jay, you probably can enlighten us more than I can. Clint's daughter once again has suffered several seizures, and he and Carla are naturally with her at the hospital.
Yeah, Clint
and
came to the
wish
park
them
today.
all the best.
Yeah, he came to the park this afternoon, but then when he got the news that Maddie would be in the hospital, he certainly obviously left the ballpark early this afternoon, and will spend the night there with her.
So it has been, as you can imagine, a difficult day, and far more difficult when Clint Hurdle got the news that Maddie had suffered another seizure. We'll see how the Rockies respond this evening. Sometimes the sanctuary for players is the field. Ozzie Guillen has done a marvelous job with this Chicago White Sox team. They have remade themselves from a power club waiting for a 3-run home run to a club that is strong in pitching and still a team that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. But with this guy, Scott Besednik, who comes over from Milwaukee, they lead the major leagues in stolen bases overall, and he is way out on top with 30 bags. Tadahito Iguchi will be in the 2-hole. He has done a very nice job in his first year in the big leagues, coming over from Japan. Aaron Rowand hits 3, Konerko 4, Dye 5, Uribe, the former Rocky, in the 6-hole, then Przynski, who was with the Giants last year, Joe Creedy at third base, and Freddie Garcia, not real familiar with swinging the bat, will have to do so tonight against Joe Kennedy, who's 3 and 5, and he's been up and down this year. Yeah, exactly, Drew. He needs to be consistent tonight, especially with his 2-seam fastball down and away. That sets everything else up, and without that, he may have some problems tonight. But this guy at the plate right now, Podsednik, is, I think, the key to this entire club. He makes it go with his speed. It's a big change for them, as you mentioned. He is the guy that makes it go. I know during spring training, I thought he was on base every time he came to the plate, and every time he's already had 2 games with 4 steals this year, so he makes this club go. He's a guy that has stolen a lot of bases, but at times has struggled with the bat. But this year, the average very solid at 287 coming in. Been 2 balls and a strike. And more patient, I think. We'll take a walk now, more so than in the years past with the Brewers. Look out, that wasn't close. 3-1. Joe's last start came against the Cubs. He went 5 innings. He gave up 7 runs. Only 3 were earned. He did give up 8 hits in that ball game. Struck out 3. He walked 5. And that's not the Joe Kennedy we saw last year. Joe had better control last year. Popped up middle of the diamond, and Eddie Garabito will handle it 1 out. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively as you look at Eddie Garabito making his first major league start. That'll come at second base. Relaford will play short, and you'll see a lot of Desi at short with the absence of Clint Barmas. Atkins and Helton on the corners. The outfield of Holiday, Wilson, and Hopp, and J.D. Kloster will have to do a lot of the catching. Danny Ardoin has been brought up, mentioned it a few moments ago. He had a solid spring for the Rockies, and he's been outstanding at Colorado Springs. Here's Iguchi, and he hits this with authority to right, but playable, and Hopp has it for the second out. Well, Joe's got 2 quick outs here with just 7 pitches. That's the key for him, I think, in this game, and you can tell when Joe's right. When his pitch counts down, he's throwing strikes, and that's what he's done, obviously, the first 2 batters here, and especially getting Podsednik to pop up. That's the key with that guy. You got to keep it off the ground with him. Aaron Rowand steps in. One of the advantages for the Rockies, even though they have never seen the Chicago White Sox, it's the last team that the White Sox have never played, have yet to play the Rockies, and the Rockies have yet to play the White Sox. The last team that both of these clubs, they matched up with everybody. What I'm trying to say is they matched up with everybody in interleague play until this year, this being number 1. But the Rockies and White Sox have an advantage in that they both call Tucson, Arizona their spring training home. And for that reason, they play frequently in the spring. And so you have an idea in terms of weaknesses and that sort of thing when these 2 clubs match up. They were 3-3 this spring. I agree with that, and I think it's a little different than the regular season, but certainly at least physically you know what they look like, what they can do. That's a lot of it. 2 balls and a strike on Rowan. He's been hot with the bat over his last 30 games, hitting .333. In fact, he's hitting 27 of his last 30. And that pitch misses inside. Jerry Lane is behind home plate with the mask on. Paul Emmel at first base. Tom Hallion at second. Ed Montague, the crew chief, at third. There's Ed. Carlos Lee was sent to the Milwaukee Brewers in the offseason for Pasednik. Maglio Ordonez was not re-signed. 2 thumpers. Frank Thomas has not been healthy until recently and came off the disabled list and then twinged his hip. He is available tonight. I imagine we'll see him at some point in the series. Base hit for Rowan, so he continues to swing it.
We spoke to Frank before the game tonight, Paul Egan's and I, and he mentioned that more than likely going to be a pinch hitter in this entire series. He won't be playing first base. That's how he originally was hurt last year in interleague play, playing first base when he hurt his ankle. So he said, I'm going to be a pinch hitter for 3 games.
Yeah, it's wild. You see a person of his stature in the game, not just his physical stature. He had never been to Coors Field. And I said, what about the '98 All-Star game? He said, I wasn't selected that year. You know, you just assume Frank Thomas is an All-Star, but evidently not in 1998. Paul Konerko has not hit for much of an average, but he has big-time power. 14 jacks so far this year.
Big-time power all throughout, all 3 fields. He can hit it out any place in the ballpark and likes to get extended like all big guys do, so Joe's going to have to keep the ball down and on, get his hands the best he can and down the way. Ozzie Smith was talking, or Ozzie Guillen, I should say, was talking earlier how he does not like interleague play because it does change his lineup. He loses his DH. It does change the American League clubs quite a bit.
I think it's more difficult for the American League managers, Jay, than the National League managers, because the National League managers are obviously used to having to make double switches, having to use their bullpen much earlier at ball games than American League skippers.
Pitching, when you take the guy out, you leave him in longer. They're used to doing it. We've already done it for 50-some games here.
Uh-oh, this ball up and out and gone. Paul Konerko reaches down and hits a 2-run shot to give the White Sox an early lead. This is not unfamiliar territory for the White Sox. They have held a lead in 53 now of the 57 games they've played, including a major league record 37 in a row to start the season.
Talked about getting extended. He got extended to the head of the bat right there. Pow. Ball was down, but he got extended and lifted it right on out of here.
So as everybody's settling in, Konerko has gone deep. It's 2-0 already, White Sox. 1/3 of Konerko's hits this year have been home runs. Jermaine Dies swings and misses. He was a Rocky for a couple hours.
I don't even know that long in the deal when Nathan Perez went Kansas City and wound up in Oakland in the whole deal.
Not a couple minutes.
Yeah, maybe. Long enough for the ink to dry. That was about it.
Now, were you with Oakland then, or were you with the Rockies?
No, I was here.
You were there?
Yeah.
Jay Alvis working alongside, head of public relations for the Colorado Rockies. George Frazier taking a few more days off. And Dye out in front of a changeup in the inning. A single by Rowland and a home run by Paul Konerko. And the White Sox have a 2-0 lead at 20th and Blake. Relaford. 2-0 Chicago. Rockies played the Cubs last week, and now the White Sox for the first time ever. And Paul Konerko, I think, wants glasses. Here they come. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for the Rockies, brought to you by Mako. Relaford will hit at the top of the lineup, then Eddie Garabito. Todd Helton in his customary spot. He was 3 for 5 yesterday, his first multi-hit game in 3 weeks. Wilson in the 4 spot. Brad Hopp, Matt Holliday riding a 9-game hitting streak. Then Atkins, Closser, and Kennedy. against Freddie Garcia, former Seattle Mariner, and a guy who has really thrived against the National League. 13-6 all-time in interleague play for Freddie Garcia with a 2.14 ERA, which is the third lowest of any pitcher during interleague play that starts.
He's a big horse. He'll give you 200 innings every year, in and out. Gives you 7, 8 innings every time out, 4 quality pitches. He's a big-time starter.
And Relaford hits it in the air to center field. Rowand is there. 1 out. Now, Freddie right now is 5-3 with a very solid ERA. If you're in that anywhere below 4 in the American League with the DH, it's a good ERA. Opp hitting .251 against him, and over his last 3 ball games, his ERA is 2.21.
He's been very good of late, and again, it's he's tough on right-handers, very tough on right-handed hitters. That slider he has.
Yeah, right. He's hitting just .202 against him. Eddie Garabito getting his first big league start tonight. So far, he has been very good when called upon. 3 for 6. There's a good hammer. He's 3 for 6, and he had a huge hit the other night to drive in his first big league RBI.
With a big pinch hit.
You've heard Garcia's name for so long, but he's just 28.
I didn't realize how big a man he really is. I know I saw him in spring training, but he's like 6'4", about 240. That's how you throw all those innings every year. 200 innings, what, 5 straight years now? On his way to, actually 4 straight, on his way to a 5th.
Good job by Garabito. And it gets over the head of Uribe. Hung in there on the breaking pitch. Let's take a look at the gloves tonight for the Chicago White Sox. There's Uribe. You know, there's a lot of flash there. He'll occasionally butcher an everyday play, but he has great range and a great arm. Pasednik, Rowand, and Dye in the outfield. Creedy is at third base. Iguchi at second base. Konerko at first, and A.J. Przinsky, the well-traveled one now, behind the plate. Helton steps in with a 4-game hitting streak, and we showed you he had 3 hits yesterday. And he takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
Get the stirrups working again tonight. They got 3 hits yesterday, so Todd's back wearing the stirrups, not the all-black socks. The traditional look.
If he thought he could get 4 hits with a reverse mohawk, you would see him in a reverse mohawk.
You are correct.
Oh. Up and in on Helton. Todd apparently will shake it off. That's all the Rockies need right now, huh?
Todd did it right. If you're home, he'll turn away from the ball here, and that's what you have to do. If he turns into it, it's right in his chest. But that stings, boy. Sometimes it's right on the elbow, right on the funny bone there. It looks like your hand kind of goes numb for a minute.
Two on for the Rockies with 1 out, and Preston Wilson steps in.
Swinging the bat very well of late. On May 26th, what, at 246 since then, 12 games, 394 with 5 home runs. So Preston is back to where he was once he chucked the brace. He seemed to have really picked up his game.
7 for 14 over his last 4 ball games, including a couple of home runs, a couple of doubles.
He just looks more comfortable at the plate. His swing's better. He looks so mechanical early in the season. He looks much smoother now.
I think it takes him a little while longer than most to get going offensively because he has a very complex swing. There's a lot of parts moving.
He missed a great deal last season too. He didn't play much last year really, and you just don't walk back in and start hitting major league pitching. I don't care how many years you've played or how good you really are. It's a difficult task, and when you've missed some time, I think it takes a while to catch up.
That's one of the hopes for the Rockies organization today, Jay. I know you know this, that at the very least Clint Barmes can come back and play a couple of weeks or so at the end of the season and not go to spring training having not played a game since early June. Wilson is fan, 2 gone.
Great pitch from Garcia again. Let's say he has 4 pitches: the two-seam fastball, the slider, the big curveball, and a changeup, and they're all solid major league pitches.
So Brad Hopp steps in. A couple of lefties for Cincinnati limited Clint Hurdle's ability to get Hopp on the field. Just 2 for 4 against the Reds. That's inside. Here's something you don't often see this far into the season. Brad Hopp's hitting .275 at home, which is fine. Hitting .304 on the road.
It's rare today's game, especially here.
Yeah, especially here. I mean, normally the Rockies have very nice, pretty averages at Coors Field, not so pretty averages on the road. Desi Relaford's another guy who's hit on the road very well this year. 2 on for Hopp. Garabito singled. He's at second. Helton at first. He was hit by a pitch. 2-0 White Sox. Fastball count here for Brad Hopp. And it's 3-0 with Holiday on deck.
Fastball count. He threw a slider.
Yeah.
So that's Freddie Garcia. Be nice to pick up a run here, obviously, but sometimes you get down early. Just even if you get 1 back, it just changes the momentum, gets you back into the game. So line drive, a lousy single, as they say here.
Hopp taking, and it's in there for a strike at 93 miles an hour. I was surprised Seattle broke up that 1-2 punch, and then you throw in Jamie Moyer also, but they had Pinheiro, who has struggled this year, and Freddie Garcia. Here's the 3-1. And this ball's driven to deep center field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. A 3-run home run. Brad Hopp says right back at you. He hit that so hard, I didn't know if it would have enough carry.
He has tremendous power to all fields, much like we talked about Konerko. That ball was driven way out the left center, really. And that's where he has tremendous power. That's why there's so much hope for him. This ball was down and away from him. He just went that way with it and just drove it. Fastball down, and Brad went down and got it. And that's a long way for a left-hand hitter. And that was back up there 5-6 rows up.
And the Rockies on top 3-2. That's a nice little pick-me-up. Slider waved at by Matt Holliday.
He's been the other rookie for most of the season, so to speak, with Clint Barmas here, and now it's his turn to pick it up. Obviously, he's stepped into that role quickly.
Well, I didn't want to rain so quickly on Clint Barmas's parade, but Barmas's absence over the next few months opens a door for several other rookies to perhaps become Rookie of the Year, and Brad Hopp would figure into that category. Hopp goes deep for the 6th time this year, and the Rockies have a 3-2 lead through 1. So Brad Hopp has given the Rockies a 1-run lead with a 3-run jack off Freddie Garcia after Paul Konerko hit a 2-run home run in the first. Here's Juan Uribe. Congratulations to Juan. Tonight he's playing in his 500th major league ball game. Lifetime .263 hitter. And this is going to be a tough chance for Atkins. No chance. A swinging bunt for Juan Uribe.
That's a tough play for any third baseman. I think he's going to beat it no matter if he picked it up with his bare hand or not on that play. He just topped it and stayed fair. It stayed on the grass. That's the key.
So Uribe at first for A.J. Pierzynski. 8 home runs for Pierzynski. He's driven in 19.
A year ago, he led the National League in grounding into double plays. That's sure the Rockies are looking for here. 27, 28 get-ips, as we call them, grounded into double plays.
You know, he's not always the most popular guy in clubhouses. He and Brett Tomko evidently not real close last year with the San Francisco Giants, but you can say what you want. Przinsky can play.
Excellent hitter. Streaky, but a good hitter.
He's one of the better offensive catchers in baseball, and his defense is adequate.
He did a nice job with the Giants staff last year. He's obviously doing a great job with the staff in Chicago this year. He's handled some good pitchers. Minnesota. There's something to that.
Yeah. Uribe moving back to first, and it's pulled in the hole for a base hit by Przinsky. Uribe around second will test the arm of Brad Hopp. Here's the throw, and it was right on line, but Uribe beat it. First and third, nobody out for the White Sox.
That's where Hopp has been amazing. Is the velocity of the throws are terrific, but the accuracy is what he's really been super at. Comes right over the top. That ball just got by Helton. Holding the runner on was the key there, having the runner on base. And you watch Brad come up with the ball and right over the top. Watch this throw. It's right where you want it. Boom, one out.
Perfect throw.
Yep. Can't throw it better than that.
He has demonstrated one of the better arms in right field. There's a lot of strong arms naturally in right field. He has 7 outfield assists, tied with Cliff Floyd. Major league lead in outfield assists. Joe Creedy hitting out of the 8-hole, but don't be fooled. This is an American League lineup. He's got some pop.
Serious power. Been struggling of late and has never really been the player the White Sox thought he'd be. Terrific minor league player. Has just not quite jumped to that level in the major leagues, but you're right. He can hit the ball a long way if he gets his pitch. Good pitch by Kennedy there. Got in his hands, broke the bat. White Sox will tell you, though, his hitting hasn't been what they wanted, but boy, his defense has been every bit as good, if not better. He's a terrific third baseman. Great arm, great hands, and flat out play at third base.
Creedy just a $115 over his last 9 ball games. And it's fouled straight back. 1-2. And once again, Creedy fouls it off.
He's a guy who was the MVP at 2 different leagues in the minor leagues. And like I say, he just hasn't translated to this level yet.
Hard hit ball should be 2. Relaford to Garabito, and the Rockies get 2. The run comes around to tie it at 3. So Creedy bounces into a 6-4-3. Uribe scores, and with 2 outs, Freddie Garcia will step up.
Yeah, Freddie hasn't hit a whole lot, I don't think, in the major leagues. This will be an interesting at bat for him.
Yeah, his time with the bat consists of June and June only. And that looked like June only swing.
Contact. He's excited about the contact.
White Sox 3.5 games up in the American League Central over the Minnesota Twins. And their record of 37-19, mentioned it off the top, the best record in baseball. It is also tied in White Sox annals as the best record through 56 games they've ever held. A shattered bat. And you know what, Freddie, stop. That's enough. He's not going to run anymore. His hand's hurt. He's got splinters in him, and they're stinging. Frank Thomas is rolling over. Ozzie Guillen, they all think it's pretty funny. Freddie said, I'm a pitcher. I am definitely not a hitter. Watch Freddie. You know what? Yeah, no. Rockies and White Sox tied at 3. Danny Arduan on the right, just called up from Colorado Springs, and on the left, Tim Olson, who was up with Arizona last year. Olson is a utility guy, can play in the infield, can play in the outfield. Both were doing very well at Colorado Springs. Both showing some power, in fact, down in Colorado Springs. I think the biggest surprise was Ardoin, because he's always been a good receiver. The question throughout his minor league career, and it's been a long minor league career, has been his bat. But Jay, this year, hitting 338 in the PCL, which is a good offensive league, but power and RBIs as well.
He's done everything down, and as you mentioned, Drew, terrific catch and throw guy. He's always been able to do that, and that was so impressive this spring. He will show off that arm. Come on out and watch him throw a little bit. He can throw the baseball. And grand slam, Timmy Olson hit 2 grand slams in spring training this year.
Yes, he did. 1-1 now on Garrett Atkins.
Garrett got it going a little bit yesterday. Hit the ball when he's hitting the ball hard to right center. That's when he's going good. He hit the ball hard yesterday, very hard to right center twice. Also another player from North Dakota. Not too many from North Dakota.
This guy from North Dakota with 61 home runs. Maris was North Dakota, not South Dakota, right? I always get them mixed up.
You know what? I'm with you.
Right. It was North Dakota, yeah. Right, Dougie? North Dakota.
Erstad's from there. Darren Erstad with the Angels.
Yeah. Went to University of Nebraska.
Kicked the ball a little bit.
Yes, he could. Swung on and missed. So Atkins is gone, leading off the second.
Great slider. He's so tough on right-handers, as I mentioned earlier, with that slider. You take something off, he'll add and subtract the speed to it. Boom, there it is. That's a very difficult pitch for a right-hander to hit. Late break, boom, right there. Great pitch. Has not allowed a home run to a right-hand hitter yet. That's how tough that pitch is. That's what he'll go to when he gets in trouble. If you watch Garcia enough, he'll go to that slider quite a bit.
Freddie, a native of Venezuela. J.D. Klosser steps in. J.D. starting to swing the bat much better. 5 for his last 17. Has a home run that came on the north side of Chicago against the Cubs. Big double to give the Rockies a 2-run double. Give the Rockies a lead against Cincinnati when they were behind 4-0 in a ball game against Aaron Harang. That if 4-0 ever looks insurmountable at Coors Field, which is rarely the case, it did the other day because Harang was that good for 5 innings. And then the 6th inning, the Rockies got after him. The 6th inning, the Rockies got after the Reds every night. They outscored the Reds 15-1 in the 6th inning over the weekend.
After coming in with what, the first 50-something games, scoring 14 runs total in the inning, scored 15 in the series.
And the bat head goes flying. The difference here is the ball is foul. 2-2 on Klosser. I'll have to bury that one.
Yeah, that's an autograph item. You see JD's Klosser, his confidence though just growing daily as he hits the ball, gets some big hits for the club. That double of the night was a huge hit for him, and you mentioned the home run. You can just see his confidence growing every night. And that's that's the key. He has enough talent to play here. Just get his confidence.
Well, he swung the bat very well last year when he was up with the Rockies in the final third of the season.
Has throughout his career. That's what he was really known as.
Yeah, his calling card has been offense, not defense. He hits this one hard. Konerko comes up with it.
Yeah, you can't aim it. All you can do is hit it hard.
Yeah, Todd Green visiting with Sean Chacon. Both of those guys, you know, would have red jerseys on if this was football. Can't touch him. This was yesterday. Atkins with a double of the gap, and Green from first base. The hammy jumped up and grabbed him.
Sniper got him.
Yeah. He'll be down for 2 weeks. He was assuring me before the ball game, as Kennedy hits it up the middle. There's a rebate. That he will be back in 2 weeks. This will not be an injury that keeps him out of action any longer. And Green enjoying one of his best offensive seasons. So the Rockies right now are a mash unit. They're playing the Chi Sox, and it's 3 apiece. 3-3 the score, the White Sox and the Rockies. First ever matchup. And the top of the 3rd inning, it'll be Pasednik, Iguchi, and Rowan to face Joe Kennedy. Again, the news of the day: Clint Barm is placed on the 60-day disabled list. He broke his left collarbone yesterday. Will have surgery tomorrow. And he's saying, how did he break his collarbone? Walking upstairs with groceries, he slipped last night after the ball game. Went down. He didn't think it was bad. When he found out it was broken. And Jamie Quirk, who's managing the club tonight, Clint Hurdle, and his wife Carla with their daughter Madison, who has suffered a couple of more seizures. And more importantly than anything else, we wish little Matty a speedy recovery. Scott Pasednik popped out in the first. You got to keep him off base. 30 stolen bases, and that misses as well. 2-0.
Maddie, I call her Num Num. That's her. That's what she calls ice cream. So her nickname for me is Num Num. I hope she's doing well.
There's a drag bunt. Atkins has it, and he will throw out Pasednik, one of the fastest men in baseball, by a step. All right, let me clear something up. We were talking about North Dakota, and we mentioned, naturally, the man who hit 61 home runs in the early 60s. Roger Maris was actually born in Minnesota, but he went to high school in Fargo. There have been 14 big leaguers who were born in North Dakota. Travis Hafner, Rockies will see him next week. Cleveland. I guess Maris moved there with his family when he was 8, but everybody associates Maris with North Dakota. Iguchi swings and misses. 1-2. Iguchi was a 3-hole hitter in Japan. So when you look down, you see he's got 5 home runs. He has evidently legitimate power.
He's got some pop.
Hitting in the 2-hole.
He's got some pop. They try to pull most things, but he's got some pop.
He rolls this one over to Relaford, and does his throw in plenty of time.
You know, watching that play, Helton handled the throw well in through the sun. He's used to it. I'm anxious to see if Konerko can handle that throw from the shortstop. He hasn't been tested yet. That's a tough spot. That's a tough place to play. If you haven't played there in particular, and Todd's real good at it. But boy, I've seen some first basemen come in here and really struggle about this time of night. Good ones too. JT Snow, some other guys.
Derek Lee. 2 outs, and that's in there for a strike. Rowan singled his first time up, and came around on the Konerko home run.
Now Joe's got to put him away. He's got 2 outs again. That's what happened last time. 2-out runs will kill you.
Kennedy trying to win for the 4th time this year. He's 3-5. Rowan's a good athlete. Center fielder, guy can run. Hitting in that 3 spot. He's 8 of 10 in stolen bases, in fact, this year. And with the base hit in the first, he has an 11-game hitting streak.
Ozzie has them running quite a bit more than they did before. As you mentioned, they were more of a softball team, power team.
But let's be honest, the biggest difference, yeah, they have a new complexion offensively. But pitching has changed. I mean, they had an ERA last year that was 1.5 higher than what it is right now. That's
what's going to win in this game over time. And very deep bullpen, great starters, tremendous pen. I love their bullpen. It's outstanding. Marte out there, and the guy who was the closer for him last year, along with Dustin Hermanson, who's now picked up that closer role. It's a very, very good pen, and you're seeing one of the more quality starters tonight, and obviously Garcia. So they're. And the Rockies catch a break. They don't get Burley and they don't get Garland. Right, they're 2 best. Right, and they've combined for 16 wins. Here's the 1-2, and hit Rowan. Just clipped the jersey, it looked like, as it came by, and that's again tough. 1-2 pitch, 2 outs. That's the last thing you want to see. Just caught the jersey.
A little buzz as Paul Konerko steps in. He hit a line drive over the left field wall his first time up. His 15th home run of the year.
He's given Kennedy problems throughout his career. 8 for 12 now versus Joe, including that home run tonight. So 667 career. It's pretty good.
Konerko hit 41 home runs last year. That was a career best. Ground ball up the middle, and it's going to get through.
Make it 9 for 13. Career versus Kennedy now. Just great topspin on this ball. Boom, big guy hits it. You think you can get to it. Topspin just takes it right in the center field.
2 on for Jermaine Dye. Some good years with the Royals. Helped out the A's.
Good athlete. Big. I didn't realize how big he was. He's 6'5" probably. He's a big guy too.
I was kidding him before the ball game. I said, it's real Punch and Judy Stadium here, Jermaine. You're gonna, just cut down on your swing. Try to see what you can do to the right side.
Just trying to help out a little bit.
Hey, trying to do my part, Jay.
Atta baby.
1-0 is upstairs. 2-0. I think one of the areas the Rockies will miss Clint Barmas the most, and obviously he has been their best overall player the first 9 weeks of the season. But the energy that he brings every day, I mean, it's a pick-me-up if you're kind of going through the motions.
No doubt. He bounces out of that dugout every inning of every game. And in playing that position too, shortstop, there's something about having your shortstop with that kind of energy. He's all over the place, and just from pop-ups to everywhere else, you see him all over. So that'll be missed. There's no doubt. You can't replace. That's tough to replace that.
And Kennedy on 4 pitches walks Dye. That was not the plan. Bases loaded. Jamie Quirk looks on as Juan Uribe comes up.
Again, 2 outs and all this has happened, so he's got to be able to finish off the innings. Uribe's dangerous there. He's going to be careful with Juan. Very aggressive. First pitch looking something he can drive.
Juan, to me, has always been a tough man to figure. I've never seen a guy who steps in the bucket that can make contact like Uribe and hit the ball as far as Juan can on occasion when your first movement is toward third base.
Just real strong. Very strong.
Now the Rockies have seen the bases loaded against their staff frequently the last few days, but they've usually either made a pitch or made a play defensively like that. Desi Relaford steals a line drive and saves 2 runs with that catch off the bat of Juan Uribe. It seems the last several days we've seen 3 or 4 of these with the bases loaded. 3-3. Now look at this guy here. That's a newborn. I mean, that baby is like 6 weeks old. Desi Relaford hits it in the air to right field. I want to go back to this baby because this is what happened. I know exactly what happened. Honey, no, you take the night off. You have been busy as can be. You take the night off. Go do something with some friends. You relax. I'll just stay at home with our newborn. And then lo and behold, he's eating popcorn. He's got the newborn at the ballpark, and he's got the kid all decked out in White Sox stuff.
You know what's worse? We put him on TV, so now she knows.
Well, absolutely, and it's not the last time. He's going to be on all night because I want to find out what time he brings the kid home. Right? I mean, you got to set these. You got to set the parameters early. If you want your kid to come home at 11 when they're 17, they better be at home at 11 when they're 6 weeks old, right?
That's how it works, I think.
Garabito tries to drag his way on. Good bunt, didn't work out though. Too quickly gone. Here's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Tomorrow the White Sox. Wednesday the White Sox. Interleague play, 6:30 the pregame show on FSN Rocky Mountain each night, and then Friday after day off Thursday. Note, with the Tigers coming to town, that's the first of our Friday 3 in the afternoon ball games, and 5:30 on Saturday.
It's a good play by Garabito. Garcia left his last game with a cramp in his hamstring. Let's find out if he can play. He can still run off the mound out there. Put the ball on the ground and let's find out. It's a good job.
Helton was hit on the hand by a pitch in the first inning. Fastball away. It's 2-0. All-time hits at Coors Field. Larry Walker has 813. Helton 3 behind. That's in there, 2-1. Pretty good list there of your favorite Rockies. Vinny having a good year in Washington. We'll see Vinny in about a month. Dante Bichette. And then Nafy, speaking of guys having a good year. Nafy has been really part of the glue with the Chicago Cubs, and he's been in the middle of things with Derek Lee as they've made a run the last 10 days.
He saved them with Garcia Parra out. They turned to him, and he's been huge, hitting in the upper 290s. And like you said, playing terrific defense. Did a nice job for him.
2-2, and Garcia wins this battle. A 1-2-3 inning for Freddie Garcia. He has retired 7 in a row since the 3-run home run by Hopkins. In the first inning with a man on, Paul Konerko goes down and hits one over the wall in left field, albeit barely, but it counts. In the bottom of the first, speaking of going down and getting one, Brad Hopp hits one out to the deepest portion of the ballpark with 2 aboard. It was 3-2 Rockies. The White Sox scored in the second, and it's 3-3 as we go to the top of the fourth. Jay Alvis sitting in tonight for George Frazier, taking a few days off. I'm Drew Goodman, and the first pitch is fouled off by A.J. Pierzynski, who had a single to right his first time up. A.J. with the Giants last year hit .272 with 11 home runs. He drove in 77. But he had a much better first half than second half, and he admitted that some of the boos really started to affect him. He said, well, why would somebody boo him in San Francisco? It was his first year there. Guy's having a productive year offensively. Well, Brett Tomko, everybody assumes now, who knows if he actually was the guy, and I don't want to label Brett Tomko with this, but Brett Tomko and A.J. Pierzynski clearly didn't get along. Somebody in the San Francisco clubhouse said that Pierzynski was a cancer.
Right.
And the fans picked up on that, and they booed Pierzynski persistently in the second half, not just because of those words, but because he had, as Jay alluded to earlier, a propensity to ground into double plays, 27 in all last year. And he said it started to bother him. He hit just .232 after the All-Star break, and when the opportunity came about to sign Mike Matheny, San Francisco and Brian Sabian jumped at it. The other thing is Pierzynski was arbitration eligible again and was set to make even bigger money than he had made the year prior. This is a base hit for Joe Creedy. Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Keith Blyer. Keith.
All righty, Drew. It's been a busy week for Rockies management, and we're not just talking about dealing with these injuries and calling players up from AAA Colorado Springs. Tomorrow and the next day are the 2 days of the 2005 Major League Baseball draft, and the Rockies actually have 4 selections among the top 55. So they will be picking up some talent, no question about that. And they have the number 7 overall selection, a guy on their radar as Garcia stands in to bunt and misses this one. The number 1 guy on their radar may just be a Colorado product. Luke Hochevar from the University of Tennessee played his high school ball at Fowler High School and is a tremendous prospect. There's also a kid by the name of Cameron Maben, a young outfielder from North Carolina. Those are 2 good guesses with that number 7 selection tomorrow in the draft. And you never know what you're going to get with number 7, but I can tell you this, guys, the best ever number 7 overall pick in Major League Baseball draft history is in the ballpark.
Are you going to share that with us?
Frank Thomas was a number 7 overall selection, and he turned out pretty well, didn't he?
He did. That's a foul ball. Frank Thomas did turn out okay. Well, we're going to get further insight perhaps as to what direction the Rockies will go. They have 7 picks, I believe, in the top 100. Dan O'Dowd is scheduled to join us at some point this evening. I will tell you this much, and Jay and I were looking at each other. Hoshaver, the kid from Fowler, Colorado, who's had an outstanding career in Knoxville at the University of Tennessee. He's developed a relationship with Todd Helton. Would be, quote unquote, a sexy pick, and that is not close. And you can move the runner to second base, Creedy, without a sacrifice with 1 out. But Hoshaver is represented by Scott Boras, who is looked upon as the evil agent because he holds guys out. He tries to get major league contracts and sometimes very, very large sums of money up front. And there are many clubs that stay away from Boras clients.
They want their guys to sign now, get them in the system, get them rolling. If they miss a whole summer, essentially almost miss a whole year of your career.
That is a fair ball, and once again Garcia has no interest in running. Todd was going to have to chase him to the dugout.
You're right.
Garcia has swung and hit the ball fair twice and not run 40 feet combined. Freddie, save it, where you're at altitude. Here comes the duck with our Affleck trivia question. And it reads, who holds the record for home runs in interleague play? That's a good question. 9th year of interleague play, and I love it. It's great. You see clubs you don't ordinarily see. Obviously, you see players that you maybe catch a glimpse of on late night sports shows. You read about them in the paper.
Just enough. I mean, it's just enough to get a glimpse of, like you mentioned, guys you never see. Frank Thomas has never been here. I think if you're a Denver fan, fun to see Frank Thomas.
And Relaford throws out Besednik, and Joe Kennedy is safely through the 4th inning as Creedy is left at third base. 3 for the Rockies, 3 for the White Sox. 3-3 along with Jay Alvis and Keith Blyer. I'm Drew Goodman. The White Sox have out-hit the Rockies 6-2. Brad Hopp has hit a 3-run home run for the Rockies. Preston Wilson in the bottom of the 4th to face Freddie Garcia, the 1-time Seattle Mariner. And strike 1 on Wilson. He struck out his first time up. Rockies did better last year in interleague play, Jay. They were competitive. They were 8-10. I mean, through the years, they have been a miserable interleague team.
In particular, the year before that, there was a struggle. But no question, they played better, pitched better. And as we talked earlier, that's the key.
They actually have, not surprisingly, held their own at Coors Field. But out on the road, they have had some tough times in interleague play. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Preston Wilson.
You know, it's funny, this year the White Sox come in the best at this point, the best team in the game. You've got to go to Baltimore. They're in first place this year. They've been struggling in years past. This year they're playing very, very well. Cleveland's got a nice up and coming club, so we've got a tough schedule coming up this interleague play.
And Wilson couldn't hold up. Garcia with a nasty slider. 1 gone in the 4th. Let's check in with Tim Ring in the studio. Diamondbacks Phillies update.
Yeah, Drew, that one is over in Philly, but not without a bit of drama. Bottom of 9, Philly down 10-6, but back to the Phils come. Utley, the 2-run single. And then later, Javier Lopez, remember him, comes in. And you got that right, struck him out. D-backs hang on, 10-8 the final there.
All right, Tim, we'll touch base with you periodically throughout the night. 1-0 right now. Brad Hopp, his home run to the deepest portion of this ballpark in the corner where it's not marked in extreme left center field. It is 424 feet from home plate. And Hopp has shown an ability. He has 6 home runs, and the home runs are sprayed all over the ballpark. Two and 1 on Brad. Took something off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Holiday on deck. 3-3 affair. And a nasty pitch again from Garcia. That is his 5th strikeout of the ball game already. Let's take a look one more time at our trivia question brought to you by Affleck.
Affleck!
All right, who holds the record for interleague play home runs? Jay, you got a guess?
Jim Thome.
That would be a good guess. Jim Thome's right, 45. Palmeiro next with 39. Dan O'Dowd has been kind enough to join us. Hopefully Dan will stick around because there's already 2 outs.
Yeah, I know. I came at the right time.
You did. Pull that. There you go,
There
Dan.
we go.
Speaking of Jim Thome, Dan knows Jim from when he was a young man.
That Indians organization had some players, didn't it?
True, it had more than I even realized now looking back at it. We had some impact players that, honestly, some of them are going to end up in the Hall of Fame, and Jim Thome and Manny Ramirez. Albert Bell had a chance to. I think the injury short-circuited that on him.
At one point, you had like 8 first basemen, didn't you? I think it seemed like that.
Yeah, we had Jimmy, and then we had Richie Sex, and then we had Sean Casey.
0-2 right now on Matt Holliday with 2 outs. In the air, center field and deep. Ball's flying well tonight, but this will be chased down by Rowan. We'll come back. Dan O'Dowd will join us for another half inning or so. 3-3 the score, the Rockies and White Sox. And by Dodge, grab life by the horns. Beautiful night at Coors Field. We're tied at 3 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Joe Kennedy against Tadahita Iguchi, the 2-hole hitter for the Chicago White Sox. Drew Goodman, Jay Alvis upstairs. Jay sitting in for George Frazier, taking a few more days off. And Dan O'Dowd has joined us as well. Are you guys fully ready for what is a marathon day tomorrow, the annual June amateur draft in baseball?
Yeah, Billy Schmidt, our scouting director, and his staff, Danny Montgomery, Dave Holliday, Ty Cowles, they do a great job. And we're as prepared as we can be. And now we just have to see how the draft falls for us.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about a guy you and I were chatting about on the field earlier, and he's become the sexy name out here because he has roots in Colorado, and that is Hoshaver at Tennessee. How much does and I understand you can't reveal too much, but how much does a Scott Boras client affect not just you but other teams in terms of whether or not you pass on it?
Well, for us, I mean, I think we've been very consistent what we've done here over the last 3 years. We like to get our players out right away to play as quickly as we can. And we find that, you know, the players that hold out, quite honestly, for us, they don't necessarily blend into our system the way they should. And, you know, honestly, Drew, we just don't like it. And so if we don't feel like a kid's going to sign and come out right away, we feel the back end of this industry is where you make your money and not on the front end. All you're getting on the front end is potential, albeit at times it's very good. But if a player wants to take a position of taking the whole summer into the next year to try to sign, then, you know, we're going to probably move on in another direction.
And the track record is not good. And I know you studied this. The track record with guys that have held out, I don't care whether they're coming out of high school or college, is not good that all of a sudden they're able to, you know, rebound after missing that full season.
Well, there's only so many special players in each and every draft. And, you know, a team is put together with a lot of different players from a lot of different rounds. And the only way you get to the big leagues is getting out to playing and getting on your way to getting to, getting to the show. And the longer you wait to do that, the more in our mind you inhibit your process.
I know there's a lot of guesswork involved. Anytime you're talking about a draft, it's an inexact science, whether it's baseball, maybe baseball more so than other sports, but you never know until a few years down the road how the thing pans out. On paper, how does this draft look in terms of depth? How does it look at the top end?
You know, I think it's deeper maybe than the 2000 draft, but I don't think it's as deep as last year's draft. I think our board will be interesting to see, but, you know, we put up 100 players on our pref list, and we'll see how quickly that ends up getting blown up before we get into the middle rounds. But our guys have done a great job getting players late in the draft. You know, Clint Barmas, Brad Hopp, you know, Garrett Atkins. And I think we'll continue to do that even this year, because I think we have a real feel to how to do that.
Swung on and missed. Kennedy fans Aaron Rowan for the second out here in the 5th inning.
Might have been his best slider of the night.
Yeah, it looked like he's staying over the rubber a little bit better this inning, and he's starting to get his breaking ball over a little bit more. And Joe's just better than the way Joe's been pitching, and we need Joe to step up and perform on a more consistent level because he's capable of doing it. Sometimes you have to ask players to do things that aren't capable of doing it. Joe is. You
know, Dan, you assess things obviously different than anybody else. Clint Barmas this year, until the news of the day, had been absolutely terrific. Wonderful story. You feel sick, I know, for the kid because he probably was going to be an all-star this year. And if he keeps it in the fairway, he could be the National League Rookie of the Year. I know we're just a third of the way in. But other guys how have you assessed what a Brad Hopp has done, for instance, what a Corey Sullivan has done as part of the process, as part of looking a year, 2 years down the road in trying to formulate a team that can contend?
Well, I think like with all our young players, I think the process involves taking a step forward, then taking a step back, and then taking 2 forward, then 1 back, and you just got to keep them in the right frame of mind, in a positive frame of mind, trying to get them to recognize what they're capable of doing at this level, and not necessarily what they're not capable of doing. In Brad's case, I mean, if anybody in our organization would look at his defensive play from last year to this year and realize how much better he's gotten, it's a credit to Brad's, credit to David Collins. And I think you can look around all of our young players and see where they've gotten better, but you also can see where they still need to get better for us to be a championship team.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Paul Konerko, and that's just inside 3-2. I would think you're pleased with the maturation process of Jeff Francis.
Yeah, very much so. And I think even more pleased, I think, when Jeff has his bad outings, he knows exactly why he had his bad outings and works very hard to correct that in between the starts.
That's down, and a 2-out walk to Konerko.
That's been the Achilles heel tonight. He's had 2 outs and no one on base for the first inning, and then the 3rd inning, and now in the 5th inning, and gotten a guy on base. But overall, Drew, we are making progress, albeit it's not as fast as some people would like it, but we just got to keep going in a positive direction no matter what obstacles that are put in front of us, like the Clint Barmas thing today is an obstacle.
I know it's real early. This is slowly hit. I'll tell you what, I'll ask you this. Well, we're going to have an opportunity here. Jermaine Dye hit it in no man's land, so 2 on with 2 outs very quickly. It's early in terms of Brian Fuentes throwing in the 9th inning, and he's throwing in the 9th inning because Sal goes down and will be out for at least a year. Could Brian Fuentes potentially be the answer to the problem you guys have had in the 9th inning for a while?
Well, again, it's early. I think that his durability will be a huge factor to that. Right now, he's pitching with an extreme amount of confidence, and his development of his breaking ball has been very encouraging. And obviously he has enough fastball in that role if he can command it.
Uribe takes a pitch down.
It's 2-out walks again is what you just 2-out hit batter, 2-out walk, and then you get a bleeder down the line. Now you put yourself back in a situation you have to make a good pitch to get out of an inning.
I would think that's one of the more frustrating things for you, because I know how much you, in charge of this organization, emphasize with Clint and Bob Apodaca to the pitchers. You have to throw strikes.
Yeah, it's been my biggest frustration this year is our inability to command the strike zone. We've talked about it all off season.
All spring.
We talked about it all spring, and we have not executed that. And I really think that our record is indicative of our inability to throw consistent strikes on a regular basis. Some of it eventually comes down to the players too. They've got to execute. And you can throw a lot of bullpens. You can do well. When you get in between the lines, you've got to execute. So this is what happens.
That's what happens. Uribe comes through. Holiday up with the baseball. Here's the throw to the plate, and it's not in time. Konerko scores, and the White Sox have a 4-3 lead. All of this with 2 outs.
2-out walks. It's again his own worst enemy. All he can do in that situation is hit the ball out of the ballpark on you. And now you've given them a chance to have a big inning.
Yeah, someone once told me you can't catch a walk, and that's the truth, and that's the key to it.
That's a lack of execution.
Yeah. It's a good throw by Matt here. Put something on it.
Had we had Uribe play very deep in left field, that's going to be tough in our ballpark to throw somebody out at the plate from where he was playing. Now the key is just to have damage control.
Bingo.
And shut the inning down right here.
Well, we saw that in the first inning last night. He ended up coming back and winning the game. And you saw that to a certain degree the other night. I mean, Jamie Wright gave up 4 in the first inning. That's not damage control in the first, but after that, he threw a bunch of zeros up.
Jamie gave his club a chance to win, and really in Coors Field, that's what you have to ask your starters to do. You don't have to ask them to be perfect. You just have to ask them to give your club a chance to win.
0-1 on Przynski. And a little foul ball, 0-2.
He's got a much better breaking ball this inning.
He throws him anything other than that here. I will wonder why.
But here's the issue that Dan was talking about a moment ago. This next pitch in the 5th inning will be number 88.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in a bullpen that's very taxed right now. And anytime you have a long homestand, your bullpen's going to get taxed here. And you've got to get innings out of your starters.
And this is served to right center field.
A breaking ball.
Jermaine Dye can walk home. This is going to roll all the way to the track. Uribe will come around. 3 runs with 2 outs. And the White Sox have a 6-3 advantage.
Yeah, he threw the breaking ball there, as Dan mentioned, but
got to make a quality pitch. You can't leave it up in the zone. His saddle, you know, he left it right up in the zone. All he had to do is get that breaking ball down and away, and he gets an out, and that's just lack of execution. The walk is lack of execution. That pitch is a lack of fundamental execution. There's no excuse for it. And unfortunately, we've seen that an awful lot with Joe this year versus the way he's pitched last year. And I'm sure Joe's frustrated by it. I'm sure he doesn't want to be performing like this. So we just got to keep working it and try to get him better.
Rockies have been out hit so far 9-2 in the ball game. You saw the White Sox, as we did, quite a bit during spring training. You do every year because their home is Tucson, Arizona. Are you surprised at where they are?
Yeah, I am. I did not see that coming out of spring training, but they got off to a great start, and winning is so contagious. And I think they just got a tremendous amount of confidence in how they play the game. And, you know, in reality, they haven't scored a ton of runs, and yet they've won a lot of games. So they're pitching very well, and they're playing great defense. And their bullpen, I knew in spring training, was going to be good.
I'll tell you what's interesting about them. They're 5-8 in games they score 2 runs or less. And so, Goodman, what are you talking? 5-8? That's not anything to brag about. Well, last year, when they scored 2 runs or less, 1-44. And so you're only a third of the way through the season. And Ozzie Guillen's team is able to compete because of that pitching that they're getting at the start, at the outset, and also, as Dan talked about, on the back end. 2-0 right now as they're going to walk Creedy to get to Garcia.
They're a much better defensive club than I thought, too. They played very good defense.
They have.
They've done a nice job.
I've never seen anything like this far into the season. 4 ball games all year that they haven't held a lead.
I know. They've had a magical year. And, you know, there's no reason they can't maintain it. The problem that they have is that maybe the 2nd or 3rd or 4th best team in the American League is right on their heels in the Minnesota Twins.
I was going to mention that they're playing terrific, and they're 3.5 up.
Because the Twins have a very talented team, and they know how to win. So it'll be a dogfight with those 2 teams all year long.
Is Freddie going to run to first? No, he doesn't have to.
Almost made it that time.
That's as close as he's been to first base all day. He ran a combined 40 feet his first 2 times. 6-3. Chicago. The White Sox score 3 with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. They have a 6-3 advantage on Colorado. Fans Night Out comes to the sports column before every Tuesday night Rockies home game. Audition to sing the national anthem at a future Rockies game and try to stump Keith Blyer with your sports trivia questions. Don't miss the fun and prizes. That's Tuesday night. It begins at 5:30 at the sports column. We'll keep Dan for a half inning more, and then Dan, we appreciate it. Let you go on your way. Garrett Atkins. For me, Garrett Atkins has really, I'll be honest, he surprised me because defensively he has improved dramatically.
Offensively, I still don't think he's quite where he's capable of being. I think Garrett's a better hitter than he showed so far. And I think a lot of it is the lost time that he's got. I still think he's playing catch up, and mechanically I still think he goes in and out of feeling comfortable. So I think there's even more. I think there's a lot more there offensively than he's shown us so far.
Ball and a strike on Atkins. Klostra to follow, and then Kennedy scheduled. This ball hit hard, but right at Joe Creedy, who's got a soft pair of hands. 1 out. How about the guys down under? I know Ian Stewart off to a slow start this year. He had some injuries earlier. Chris Nelson, the same boat. Are there names that perhaps have fallen beneath the radar? Those are the sexy names, the first-round
picks. I think that the the pitching at the 2 lower A levels, Juan Maria, who you saw in spring training, Steven Register, whose numbers aren't indicative, I think, in how good he has a chance to be, maybe in the bullpen. And then the 2 or the 3 younger guys, Franklin Morales down in Nashville, and Samuel Deduno is on the DL right now. 2 quick outs there. It's not what you want to do when you're down 3 runs, is have 3 pitches and 2 outs.
I was going to say, are there times when you're watching the ball game, and I know, Dan, you can get emotional. I mean, this is your livelihood, and you see guys not work the count. Is that frustrating for you?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of parts of the game, Drew, quite honestly, that are pretty frustrating at times, and you just got to recognize this is, you know, they're human beings, and they're out there trying to do the best they can, and they're trying to get better, and, you know, but there are areas of the game that we continually have to work on to get better if we're going to make progress, and we know that. They're making my stay here very short, though, I can tell you, in the booth, because they're going to be out of here before we know it.
Yeah. 56 pitches for Garcia. That's the difference.
And then Joe Kennedy's at 90. That's pretty much sums up the difference. One person's pounding the strike zone, one person pitching around the strike zone. But we're making progress everywhere in our minor league system. And, you know, it's a slow, steady climb. I have no doubt Ian's going to be a great player. You know, I have no doubt Chris Nelson gets his feet underneath him at some point in time. He's going to begin to go quickly. Jeff Salazar the same way.
And another comebacker. Freddie Garcia will toss over to Paul Konerko. Dan, thanks very much.
My pleasure, guys. Anytime.
Okay, that's Dan O'Dowd, Rockies general manager. 6-3. The White Sox in charge right now. White Sox leading the Rockies 6-3. First game of interleague play for the Rockies tonight on the Best Damn Sports Show period. We talked to Magic guard Steve Francis to find out who he thinks will win the NBA championship. Plus Red Sox star Kevin Millar previews Boston's rematch with the Cards. The Best Damn Sports Show period tonight, 10:30 only on FSN. Again, our thanks to Rockies general manager Dan O'Dowd for stopping by for a couple of innings. Breaking pitches in there for a strike to Scott Pisednik. So far 0 for 3 in the game. And by the way, start your weekend early with Friday on the Rocks at Coors Field. Come to the ballpark on Friday, June 10th. This ball is up the middle for a base hit. For the 3:05 game, you can come to the park for peanuts for only $20. You get 2 field level tickets, 2 packs of peanuts, 1 parking pass, and a game program. This offer only good every 3:05 Friday afternoon game in June, July, and August. Great deal. Don't miss this amazing deal. Don't miss the fact that the game starts at 3:05. Well, league leader in stolen base by a bunch, Scott Pisednik. Now, the only thing that may slow him down here is Joe Kennedy from the left side. Obviously more difficult to run against than a righty.
He's very aggressive. I would expect him to run here either first or second pitch. It's just how he is. He's got that explosive speed, boy. He has that live twitch wire that Barmas has, kind of that real live body.
Well, he was one of the fastest kids growing up in the state of Texas. Now, this isn't being one of the fastest kids. I don't want to pick on North Dakota again, Jay, but a little different than winning the 100 meters in North Dakota and being competitive in the state of Texas in the sprints.
There is some competition there. Big time.
And he draws another throw.
He's one of those guys that'll just pick a pitch to go. Whether Kennedy's coming over or not, he's just going to go. And then see if he can beat the throw to second base.
He's fast enough that even if he doesn't get a good jump, he can outrun the baseball. He had a scholarship offer from Texas, Texas A&M, and TCU to run the 200-meter dash and the hurdles.
Turn to baseball. That's interesting. That's rare. Track star turning to baseball.
I mean, you see track stars turn to football. There he goes. Here's the throw from Klosser. It's a good throw. But Pisednik has his 31st bag.
Yeah, he had no chance. He made a nice throw, JD, but he was there easy. Great jump. Klosser, as we mentioned, with a good throw, wrong side of the bag, but still a good strong throw. It's there. It's just no chance. He's at full speed after about 2 strides, which was what made Ricky Henderson so good. But powerful legs, they're moving full speed after about 2 or 3 strides.
And you don't want to go to sleep. He'll go and swipe third.
He's got a couple games of 4 steals already this season. That's a lot of steals. In just 2 games, 8.
Wow. See, more and more guys sliding head first in this era. And I know one guy that will stop sliding head first as Iguchi is gone for the first out, and that is the Rockies left fielder. Talking to Matt before the ball game, he jammed his pinky 2 days ago sliding head first, and he said, "You won't see me do it again."
Well, Don Baylor used to fine players when he was a manager here for sliding head first. You'd get fined for doing. He did not want to see anybody sliding head first. Hands, fingers, whatever. Something's gonna happen, and that's exactly as you mentioned what happened to Matt. It's just, I guess guys just react is really what it is, as much as anything.
Sometimes forward lean, I think it seems more natural to do that, but the risk of injury is far greater. And again, it's mainly because the hands are involved.
Plus, you can allow an infielder to put his knee down. You can run right into a knee. If you're going in with spikes, many times they're not going to be so apt to put the knee down.
Rowan takes a strike. 0-1 on Aaron.
That's what's amazing about Ricky Henderson. He slid like that how many times? I mean, 2,000 times? Who knows? Never got hurt doing it.
It's been a couple years since we've seen Ricky, but the last time we did, does he not look? I mean, his face has aged some, but from a body standpoint, I mean, he looks as chiseled as he did when you were working with him in Oakland.
He's unbelievable. His waist is still probably about a 31-inch waist. He's in great shape. Someone said once he picked the right parents. I think that's part of it.
Yeah. But he, as you well know, he works out.
Yes, he does. It's not that's just given to him. He certainly takes care of tremendous care of himself. Great care.
And Rock Raines
works at it.
Another guy that could run a little bit, huh?
Yeah, another guy over at third base with that number 30 over there. Those great Montreal teams, and with these guys for quite a while.
And this ball turned on deep left field. And moving over and making the catch is Matt Holliday. 2 outs.
You can really see Holliday how much he's worked on playing the outfield with Davy Collins. First step's the key, obviously, in the outfield, and he made another catch the other day on a sac fly. That was a terrific catch down the line like that, and I don't think he makes that catch a year ago or from now. I mean, when he was first up, he had some problems in the outfield, but he's worked at it. I think you're seeing the results again, as Dan mentioned, with Brad Hopp in right field. I mean, how much better is he this year than he was a year ago?
He's much better, talking about Brad Hopp, in June, early June, than he was the first couple weeks of April. He had some shaky routes, to be honest, to the baseball, and he'd probably be the first to tell you that. But Davy Collins, who always, I think, as a coach, falls underneath the radar, this guy is a great teacher, David Collins.
And FSN had the microphone on Davy during spring this year. It was one of my favorite pieces, in the wireless microphone teaching base running. That was a terrific piece, and you really begin to see the teaching aspect of being a coach. It was excellent.
Well, the Rockies are going to pass on Konerko. And with 2 outs, Jermaine Dial come up. Dial, an infield hit his last time up. He's walked and struck out in the ball game. Kennedy has to get that 3rd out, keep the score at 6-3. Marcus Carvajal throwing for the Rockies. They're a little short tonight in the bullpen again, with Jay Watasic not available. Still trying to get that nail straightened out. First ever matchup, the Rockies and the White Sox. And I would imagine, Jay, there's a pretty good chance, you often have inside knowledge on this sort of thing, pretty good chance the Rockies travel next year to U.S. Cellular.
Yeah, good chance. I would think we had a chance to do that. I know this year we're going to go to Boston again. They moved us to Baltimore, which I think is terrific. That's a great venue.
And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason is that they realized in New York, Park Avenue, Major League Baseball, that the Rockies had never played at Camden Yards. That's why my theory is that next year, because the Rockies never seen U.S. Cellular, that they'll end up at some point going there in June.
I would think so. And we have a funny interleague schedule anyway, the Rockies do, in that we play just 12. Everyone else plays quite a few more, and it's just we don't have that natural rival. And so we end up playing the Tigers quite a few times. What, this 3 years in a row now this year as they come in this weekend. Or the Royals again here. So it's a little different schedule that we receive.
Last year the Rockies played 18. This ball hammered down the left field line. That's fair. Jermaine Dye thought it was foul. He didn't run initially. One run is scored. And another run scores as Klosser evidently couldn't catch the baseball.
He was screened by the runner. I don't think he ever saw the throw.
He may not have ever seen it. Konerko scores all the way from first, and that strategy backfires for the Rockies. They pass on Konerko, and Dye burns him with a double down the left field line.
Again, the ball's up. Joe can't get the ball down. The ball's up, and Dye does what he's supposed to do with that. Hits a line shot down the line. Kept it fair, so you know he hit it square. That's hard to do that. Keep that ball down the line fair, and it means you hit the ball square, hit it solid.
110 pitches, and Kennedy will not see pitch number 111. Jamie Quirk going out to the mound, and he will take the baseball. 8-3 Chicago. They've out 8-3 Chicago. Tough outing for Joe Kennedy, and in a couple of situations, Jay, he was able to get 2 outs and 2 outs quickly, but he couldn't finish off the inning.
That was the key to the whole evening. Began in the first inning, went through the third inning, and again in the fifth they scored 3 times. Now tonight they score again, or in the seventh, sixth here they scored twice more. So that was the big problem, and obviously leaving the ball up didn't help any either.
Juan Uribe's 2 for 3, and the lone out he made with the bases loaded. He was robbed by Desi Relaford when he hit a hard line drive. The Relaford caught leaping to save a couple of runs. 1 pitch for Carvajal. Dye drives in 2 with a double. 8-3 White. 8-3 Chicago leading the Rockies, but the Rockies are hitting in the 6th inning, and this has been a magical inning for Colorado, particularly over the weekend. 15-1. They outscored the Cincinnati Reds. They scored 6 on Friday night, 6 on Saturday, and then added 3 yesterday afternoon. Desi Relaford will hit first in the 6th inning. That is all well and good, those numbers. The only problem is Freddie Garcia has mowed down 13 in a row.
I was going to say it sounds great, but Freddie Garcia was not on the mound when we scored those runs, so that's a part of it. That's a big part of it.
Though I'll tell you what, Aaron Harang was throwing just as good as Freddie Garcia the other night for 5 innings when the Rockies got after the Cincinnati Reds started.
That is true.
That was a wild evening, wasn't it, Jimmy? Harang was as good as it gets for 5 innings.
He was as good as Freddie Garcia's been tonight.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
Look at that road ERA for Garcia. And this is typically where road ERAs come to die, or to skyrocket at least. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Relaford. Desi's been playing quite a bit with the injury to Aaron Miles, and now with Clint Barmas going down, he's probably going to be out there most days.
I would think he'd play a lot, no doubt.
And he has played well. Popped to short center field. Rowan will handle it, and that is 14 in a row. Let's again visit with Keith Blyer. Keith?
Oh, is it pretty. I mean, it is a beautiful night at Coors Field. Of course, the current score could be reversed if we had our druthers, but one of the things that we're going to be doing this season, Drew and Jay, is called Fans Night Out, and it starts tomorrow night. Every Tuesday before a Rockies home game, head on over to the sports column before you come to Coors Field. Now, I know Drew and Jay, they'll be hard at work. Drew will be poring over statistics created by Jay. But you, the viewer, should make your way to the sports column about a half a block from here. We'll be there from 5:30 to 6:30 tomorrow and every Tuesday night. And you mentioned earlier, Drew, auditions for the national anthem. I'm not kidding. We're talking auditions for the national anthem. And in August, the person that can actually sing, because I'm skeptical, will get a chance to sing the national anthem. Also some trivia. And what's your name, sir?
Dave.
Dave is a season ticket holder. We're going to have like Stump the Blyer. That's kind of the way it's going to go. So Dave, let's give this a shot here as Garabito takes the first strike to move the count to 3-1. 37 wins for the White Sox. Best team in baseball so far. How many of those 37 wins do you think, as the count moves to 3-2 on Garabito, are by just one run? Amazing how good their bullpen has been. Boys?
This ball's hit a ton right center field, but it's going to run out of gas short of the track. Garabito got the fat part of the bat on that one, but it's a long out. It's now 15 in a row. Put to bed by Freddie Garcia. The last person to reach was jogging. That was in the first inning when Brad Hopp hit the 3-run home run.
He got serious after that, and it's just changing speeds. He's doing everything you need to do to be an effective pitcher, especially for here at Coors Field. He'll throw a BP fastball 85. That last one was 92. And he's just changing speeds. Good breaking ball. Burying the slider on the right-handed hitters. They can't touch it. Throwing the changeup to the left-handers.
And another one right there to Todd Helton.
He's just really been obviously very effective. And
he struck out Helton on a changeup earlier. He starts him out with one. And then he goes two-seam fastball away. It's 1-1. 18, by the way, was the answer. I know Keith's mic cut out for a second. 18 one-run games for the White Sox.
Yeah, we talked about their pitching. That's the key.
On the outside corner at the knees, 1-2.
But we're trying to hit a rocking chair here is what you're really trying to do. He's throwing 81, 85, 91. So you're going back and forth in the rocking chair. Difficult guy to hit when they're changing speeds. Hitting the brakes, speeding it up, slowing it down. And Todd there just decides he's take it to left field. He's going to stay in longer, stay back, drive the ball to left field. And you notice the White Sox playing shallow too. Interesting, their first time here, left fielder Podsednik's pretty shallow.
I've never seen a left fielder for Todd Helton that shallow. The only guy I've seen anybody on the Rockies played there was Juan Pierre years ago. Now look at that pitch by Garcia. I mean, he has put on a clinic tonight. 17 in a row. Right, our Coors Light game reset in the first inning. The Rockies down 2-0. Brad Hopp hits one out with 2 aboard. It's 3-2. That's the last lead the Rockies have had, as Chicago has scored 3 in the 5th and 2 in the 6th. Przinsky hit one in the gap. That played at 2. And then the 6th inning, the Rockies passed on Konerko to get to die, and he burned him with a 2-run double. Our Coors Light game reset. It has been all White Sox, and Freddie Garcia, I think I said 17 in a row. It's actually 16 in a row that he has set down. But he has been special. Marcus Carvajal got the final out in the 6th inning, and he'll face Przinsky here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, they scored 8 runs with the way he's throwing. I don't think they're going to need a whole lot more than the 4 after that double play that's played at the 4th run.
And a big swing, no baseball there. 1-1 on A.J. Przinsky.
And he's their number 3 starter. Realistically.
Well, certainly. I mean, the way Burley's number 1, and then Garland. 16 combined wins between those two. And then you have a guy like Freddie Garcia. And I'll tell you what. How about El Duque? The Rockies will see him.
And Contreras tomorrow, who's outstanding. Great splitter. Big Cuban right-hander can deal with himself.
One, two. See you later. Carvajal with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to strike out A.J. Przinsky. Let's check in again with Tim Ring. He has an update on the Pirates.
I do indeed, Drew. We'll take you to Pittsburgh interleague play. Baltimore in town, and Miguel Tejada takes care of this pitch, puts it deep into left field. 2-run shot. O's win it 4-3. Rematch of the '79 World Series, guys.
We are family. Check swing, ground ball foul off the bat of Creedy.
And we'll see one of the Baltimore Heroes there when we go to Baltimore next weekend. Boog Powell out in right center field cooking the barbecue. Smoke flying. Boog with a big white bib on out there.
Are we allowed to order in the middle of the game?
Yeah, it's a treat. Go out there to see Boog.
Creedy, a guy last year who struggled on the road. He hit just .219 on the road. .21 home runs last year for Creedy, but the average at .239 as he tries to figure it out at the major league level. Still young in baseball terms. Not super young. Turned 27 in late April.
Yeah, it's pretty soon he's going to have to, one way or the other, he's going to have to make the jump. They've got some prospects coming that are good players at third base.
And Carvajal tried to run a fastball in. He ran it too far in. So Creedy on a 1-2 pitch gets plunked. And that'll bring up Garcia. Check out Tracy Ringolsby's column on the Rockies in Major League Baseball in the Rocky Mountain News. Read him tomorrow morning. There's a Cowboy working away. Also catch him on our pregame show on FSN Rocky Mountain.
You know, Garcia was involved with a trade, that big number 41 pitcher for the Yankees. The first time he was traded from, or actually the second time, from Seattle to Houston. It's part of that. That was a pretty good trade for Seattle. They got Carlos Guillen, who's now an all-star for Detroit.
Yeah.
And they got who's the other guy they got in that deal? They got Guillen. They got Garcia. Another guy's a pretty good player.
Randy Johnson was thrown tonight for the Yankees. He was down 3-0 early against Milwaukee. It's now 4-3 Milwaukee. Johnson's out of the ball game. Garcia gets the bunt down. 2 outs on the sacrifice. Creedy at second base.
The other guy in that deal, John Halama, that left-hander, who's pitched for quite a few years in the major leagues. They were all minor league kids when the Mariners made that deal.
You know, they got away with trading 2 of the biggest names in baseball, and then they win 116 games.
And then lose A-Rod too for free agency.
Besednik singled his last time up. He's 1 for 4 in the ball game. He scored last inning. Singles, stole a base, his 31st of the year, and then he came around on the Jermaine Dye double. It's fun to watch a guy like Besednik play because there aren't many anymore in the game that are pure base stealers. Guys that you know when they get on, they're going.
Yeah, they're just going to go, and you better be ready for it. Well, he has more stolen bases now than 17 teams combined, so it tells you how much he's running. Ricky Henderson, the year he stole 130, people forget he was caught 50 times, so 180 attempts. That's a few.
What was the attempt number?
180. Stole 130 bases that year to set the record. He was also thrown out 50 times.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I never knew what the other side of the coin was. He was thrown out 50 times.
180 attempts. I mean, every time he's on base, he's going. Just about. I think that's the record too.
I mean, that's remarkable because Ricky always hit some home runs too.
Yes, he did. And still is.
Yeah. What's he playing for, the Long Beach Sea Dogs or some team like that in an independent league?
We were talking about how great a care he takes of himself, and he does. He's just in great shape. He's a treat to watch. I enjoyed watching Ricky play a lot of baseball.
It's the Surf Dogs. What did I call them? The Sea Dogs.
That's close enough.
Yeah, I'm not really up on that independent league baseball. Here's the 3-1. And Besednik lines it down the right field line. That is a fair ball. Jogging home is Creedy. Besednik thinking 3, and he takes a header going over second. He didn't run like a track star going around second there.
More like Todd Green.
Watch Besednik as he rounds second base on this double.
He can fly, boy. He's just going too fast, I think. And he tripped himself as he rounded the bag, and he was looking at the ball and just tripped himself.
9-3 White Sox.
It's a good-looking team, isn't it?
It is, especially when you have a guy on the hill throwing like Garcia tonight. Iguchi is 0 for 4.
That was close.
On the 50?
Yeah, 42 caught steals. That was only 8 off.
I'm amazed at that. 42 times he was caught. Because, I mean, you know, Ricky's going to walked a lot back then.
Yes, he did.
And he's probably going to have 175 to 195 hits.
So almost every time he was on, he was
But there's got to be sometimes there's guys in front of him.
The 82 A's team wasn't the best team. So he was the offense, a lot of it. He made things go. He was running. I thought it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the record for caught steals in a season, 242, if I'm not mistaken.
That body he must have needed a month in the hot tub at the end of the season.
I was talking to Mike Gallego about that. He was amazing. And then he would, like I say, he'd dive in head first and just dust himself off, and never a scratch, never a strawberry, nothing. Amazing.
Glasser has to reach out and pick that up, and it's 3-1 on Iguchi.
We got the 2-out syndrome going again here, don't we?
Yep. Rockies have given up a number of runs tonight with 2 outs. We believe 7 of the 9 have come around with 2 outs. I know all 3 in the 5th did. 2 in the 1st came with 2 outs. The 1 in the 2nd did because it scored on a double play ground out. Bob Apodaca, after the walk, is going to go see the youngest man in the major leagues, Marcus Carvajal.
Carvajal came in throwing harder tonight than I've seen him. Through 94, 95, that ball he was through by Terzinski. 94, 95.
Well, Saturday, June 18th, the phenomenon continues as the future of poker comes to FSN in an all-new weekly tournament with $250,000 up for grabs. It's the premiere of the ultimate bet.net World Poker Challenge, only on FSN Rocky Mountain. How about the popularity of watching guys play poker on television?
It's huge, especially with teenagers.
Yeah, you saw that Sports Illustrated article, huh?
Yeah. I see it at my house.
Right, you got teenagers. Aaron Rowan takes a strike.
Guys watching the clubhouse, they'll watch it sitting around. ESPN has made an entire show out of it.
Rockies been out hit 12-2 in this ball game. 1-1. Rowan is 1 for 3 and was hit by a pitch. Good breaking ball, 1-2.
What's impressive about Carvajal has been since the day 1 of spring training, his composure, his poise on the mound. For a young man, as you mentioned, the youngest guy in the big leagues, he has never seemed that way. He has great poise, and he really carries him well in difficult situations. He's going to be somebody who's going to be a pretty special pitcher, I think, in the next few years.
The Rockies are banking on it. That ball right side. Garabito. And that'll do it for the White Sox in the 7th, but they score again. They've scored 3 consecutive innings. They have a 9-3 advantage. Stretch time at 9-3 White Sox. The ball game started out all right, though the White Sox got 2 in the 1st. Colorado came back with a 3 spot on Brad Hopp's 6th home run of the year, but since then it's been all Freddie Garcia and the White Sox. Let's learn a little bit more in a moment on J.D. Closser. I was going to lead us to somewhere we can't go just yet because Preston Wilson's already in the box. Preston has struck out twice. Ground ball foul.
That slider's been eating him up all night. That's a great slider from Garcia. He hit that one. It wasn't quite as tight.
That's a slider that Preston has waved on a couple of times tonight. He stayed off it there. It's 1-1.
Great rotation. It's just a sort of late break. That's what makes it so hard to see.
2 balls and a strike. The Rockies had 2 hits in the 1st. Garabito had a base hit. Helton was hit by a pitch. And then after Wilson fanned, Hop went deep straightaway center field. Looked like the Rockies would get after Freddie Garcia tonight. Little did we know he wouldn't have a hit since. Rockies' list of injuries has grown considerably the last couple of days. The Barmes injury, the freakish injury. Again, if you're just joining us, stumbled on some stairs yesterday carrying groceries home after the ball game. Broke his left collarbone. Will have surgery tomorrow. He's done for 12 weeks basically. Just a crushing blow individually and obviously to the Rockies. He has been their best everyday player this year. And that is strike 3. Wilson thought he walked. Quite honestly, I think he went around. I think it's a pretty good call by Jerry Lane.
We'll watch the replay here and we'll get a good look at it from this. Tough fastball is sinking down and in. Here's the look you want. Bat goes past that foul line. It usually means you're at strike.
Close hop, 3-run jack and a strikeout. He takes a lollipop curveball out of the strike zone for a ball. Todd Green also placed on the disabled list today. With the pulled hamstring. There's Greeny in the dugout. Boy, has he been swinging the bat well.
Terrific. He's a key part of the offense, and yesterday in particular.
Jim Olsen was called up to take a middle infield spot, more of a utility spot. Veteran minor league player who's been in the big leagues. Danny Ardoin was called up to be the #2 catcher. Chacon's on the disabled list right now. Chinwei Zhao done till next year at some point in time.
Yeah, some key members certainly out for the time being.
3-2.
But somebody's got to have to step up, and we're going to have to keep the process moving forward. We're going to find out.
Sinking fastball, and Hop is gone. Now 8 strikeouts for Garcia. This has turned into one of the all-time performances, quite honestly, at Coors Field.
That's 8 strikeouts. That's a season high for Garcia. He has not been striking out a lot of batters this season. But tonight, that's a different case. Not at the pace he normally did over his career. He's certainly been down.
Holiday swings at the first pitch, hits it high in the air to deep center field, but it is playable. Aaron Rowan pulls it in, and the Rockies 19 in a row set down by that man. And facts, how well do you share? By Coors Light, the world's coldest tasting beer, and by Chrysler, inspiration comes standard. Nine to 3 White Sox. Let's check in again with Keith Blary as a special guest. Keith?
Yeah, sitting down near home plate with a washed up third baseman. That's all. Joel Klatt, who also happens to be the University of Colorado's quarterback, is with us. And Joel, I say that half jokingly. You did give baseball a shot. Tell me about it.
I did. You know, actually, I guess that would be 4 or 5 years ago. Tomorrow was the Major League Baseball draft. Right. And I was drafted in the 11th round by the Padres and signed and played 3 seasons as a third baseman with them and got to play with some good players there.
Name a few.
Jake Peavy. Played with him when he was in the minor leagues, and so that's kind of my claim to fame, I guess you could say.
Nice play by another third baseman, Joel, Garrett Atkins, to get Paul Konerko. All right, so we're interested in football when we talk to you now. You guys got the job done last year despite all that adversity.
Yeah.
Is it another fresh slate this season?
I think so. I think what's really going to help us is we got a lot of veteran guys that have played a lot of football, and they remember what happened. So you know, that sense of togetherness and things of that sort are still there, and I think that sort of thing can still propel us to have a tremendous year and play with that passion that we did last year.
That's Joel Klatt, University of Colorado quarterback. And let me take this time to announce that your game against CSU, a time has been announced. That's going to be a 1:30 game. Base hit up the middle for Jermaine Dye. He's having a nice night. The next week you play New Mexico State. That's on September 10th. And that's on us, FSN Rocky Mountain at 8 p.m. Yeah, Joel, thanks.
No problem. All right.
Enjoy the rest of the game. They're going to come back and win. You watch.
All right, Keith. Good to see Joel Klatt. Talented guy. And there have been a few college quarterbacks, Jay, over the years that have played minor league baseball and then decided to turn back to football. And there have been some guys who played baseball that stayed away from going back to the football field. One of them's in left field for the Rockies, Matt Holliday, who was one of the 2 top quarterbacks in the country his senior year at Stillwater High in Oklahoma.
He was the guy who was at Stanford and went to play for the Cardinals, and went back and now played for the Cowboys. Quarterback for the Cowboys.
Hutchinson?
Yeah, that's Chad Hutchinson. That's who it is. And he went back to football after pitching in the big leagues for the Cardinals. That's rare. That's very rare.
Uribe did not get cheated there. 1-2.
He was just out here, the Broncos' 3rd quarterback at LSU. They drafted him a couple years ago at LSU. He was here. And
Bach?
Yeah, and he was a heck of a baseball player, I guess. And then Clint Barnes knew him a little bit when they played basketball together in Indiana. A heck of a basketball player, too.
You know, chances are, and this one is going to get through, chances are, if you're a good athlete, you're a good athlete. You probably, you know, if you're that gifted, if you can play Division I football, it's not like you were chopped liver at something else at, you know, the other sports also.
And Clint was telling a story that night. He was playing basketball on his basketball team in high school, and they said they had a 6'10" guy that went to University of Wisconsin, so he's no chopped liver. He could play a little bit. Scott Rowland came in. They're all 6'4". Scott Rowland is now the Cardinals' 3rd baseman. Bring the ball down the first time. Rowland slams it over the 6'10" guys, and they said, this guy's a player right away. He wound up being Mr. Indiana or something in basketball. He's going to Georgia on a full ride.
Amazing.
And pretty good 3rd baseman now.
2 on against David Cortez for A.J. Przynski. Well, you always tell the story, at least you told it to me, about Billy Beane, general manager and former big leaguer and just an outstanding athlete coming out of the San Diego area in high school. How gifted he was playing basketball.
Phenomenal. He was like Mr. San Diego in basketball, which is obviously a great talent area. And we'd play basketball across. When I was with the A's, we'd play at the arena there. We'd step across there and pair at lunchtime, play basketball. He'd come down and be slamming it, and we'd all be, well, what, Billy, come on, you're killing us. And we'd shooting 20-footers. He was just a terrific, just a 6'4", you know, 210, 215. And was going to go to Stanford on a full ride, play quarterback. Wound up signing with the Mets.
You know, that's the thing. Sometimes guys are great athletes, but I think with baseball, yeah, you have to be a very good athlete, obviously, but you have to be a good baseball player too.
Yeah.
And there's a difference.
Yes, there is. Ask Michael Jordan.
That's that may be Exhibit A. Who played for Jerry Reinsdorf in the White Sox organization in baseball. And people who played with him, I'm trying to think of, there's a couple guys in the big leagues who played with him, and they all rave about what a great teammate he was, and what a, you know, he was a regular guy with his teammates in baseball. He didn't ask for the star treatment. Probably ate better than everybody else, but
drove a better car, maybe.
Well, actually, you know what? Everybody on that team in was it Mobile?
I believe AA, somewhere in AA.
Or was it Memphis? I'm trying to remember. Where was Doug? You'll know. The AA team that Michael Jordan played on. It was Birmingham. That's right. It was in the South. And he took care of everybody for dinner most nights, so everybody ate well on that Birmingham team.
I think he fixed the bus up for him too. He had the whole thing going.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. They were living large. Dives at second. He singled. Uribe rolled one through the right side. He's at first. It's been all White Sox, 9-3. David Cortez looking for a double play ball. And that will find the hole on the right side. Dye around third, and he's going to test the arm a hop. Throw is in plenty of time. That's the 8th assist of the season, and that was easy pickings for Brad Hopp. I think his eyes must have lit up when he saw Dye get the green light around third. I was surprised, even though it is 9-3.
Well, he charged the ball terrifically, picked in a great hop. One hop, boom, right to you, J.D. Closser. No chance.
I mean, Dye didn't even bother with a slide.
They're going to stop running on Brad very soon. I'm surprised, like you, that they even ran there, even with the 9-3 lead.
Joe Creedy with 2 outs. Uribe at third, Brzezinski at first.
You know, Brad was really drafted as a first baseman at LSU, but Rockies have a guy who's pretty good there, and put him in the outfield. He's turned into an outstanding outfield by a lot of hard work.
You know, when he first got to LSU after junior college, Jay, they wanted him to pitch and be the closer also. I mean, he threw 93.
So the arm strength was there.
Yeah, it's not a surprise when you watch him throw. He got injured early on and never did pitch at LSU, but he obviously did plenty with the bat.
Yeah, and arm strength's not something you learn. I mean, that's a gift you get. You can certainly make it a little bit better, but that's a gift, arm strength like that.
Yeah, for all the parents out there saying, well, how can I get my son to get a 90-mile-an-hour fastball? You know what? You can gain a little bit.
Yeah, with mechanics.
It's like speed.
Yeah.
If you're not going to make your kid into have 4.4 speed. I mean, you can train, work out all you want. You can improve your 40-yard dash time, but you have to be born with it to be able to throw 90+ or run like a cornerback in the NFL. 9-3, Colorado on the short end right now as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The White Sox leading the Rockies 9-3. J.D. Closser hit second in the inning. Let's learn a little bit more about J.D. Brought to you by Charles Schwab.
Favorite movie would be Hoosiers. Without a doubt, favorite sport besides baseball is basketball. If I had to describe myself in one word, it'd be a spaz. Because I'm all over the place all the time.
Not the word that most people will describe themselves with, spaz.
No, not necessarily.
How would you describe yourself? I'm a spaz. But that's J.D.
Absolutely.
Garrett Atkins with a 1-1 count. Well, we are trying to figure out, Brendan McNichols, who does a marvelous job for you, Jay.
Yes, he does. With
research, and Doug Marino has become legendary up here with his research for us in the booth. They can't find a place where somebody at Coors Field retired 19 in a row. And for those of you at home say, wait a second, Nomo threw a no-hitter here. Yeah, he threw a no-hitter, but he walked some people. So there was interruptions in all the outs. Freddie Garcia gave up a 3-run home run with 2 outs in the first. He has not allowed a base runner since then. Sean Chacon on opening day a couple of years ago retired 16 in a row. But so far, we have not found an instance where a pitcher has retired this many in a row at Coors Field. This performance, if it continues, will go down, and it is continuing as one of the great pitching performances, evidently, ever at Coors Field.
Absolutely has to be, the way he's pitched. And you mentioned earlier, Drew, during the break, that it hasn't even been close.
No, I mean, it's not like there's atom balls or you know, nice plays defensively to take away a hit. He has 9 strikeouts, Jay, 8 of them since the first inning. There have been 2 balls weakly hit at the first baseman. There have been 2 comebackers and a couple of fly balls. That's it.
And fly balls, not line drives. Fly balls.
Fly balls. Closser fouls it off. And look at the pitch count. 95 pitches with 1 out in the 8th inning.
That says a lot about how effective he's been. .28-year-old Freddie Garcia, and that's in there for a strike.
This has to be a joy for A.J. Pierzynski to catch. And he's caught some good pitchers through the years in Minnesota. Jason Schmidt last year. High in the air to right field. And Crawford got under to smidge it.
Yeah, J.G. just missed that pitch. That went straight up. He hit that ball pretty well.
He has been swinging the bat better. Two-got Corey Sullivan will be the pinch hitter for David Cortez. Corey's done a great job in every role, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter when he's been given opportunities to start.
He's a solid player. He does everything well.
And he's very good defensively. You're right.
Started in spring training and just has continued through. He just, like you mentioned, runs the bases well. He plays defense, line drive. He doesn't try to do too much. Just a baseball player.
Here's that changeup.
But tonight doesn't matter.
Guys use the big chest protector. It's got flaps on both sides. Pierzynski looks like he borrowed my son Jacob's chest protector. That thing looks like 18 sizes too small for him. See you later. 22 in a row. Even Freddie Garcia says, wow. That's what it looked like. The White Sox have dominated in all facets. They're up 9-3. Coming up after the ball game, the Rocky Mountain Sports Report for a preview. Here is Dave Benz across town.
Hey, thanks a lot, Drew. Of course, we'll take you to the NBA hardwood Game 7 between the Pistons and the Heat. It came down to the final few seconds. Who won? I'll say just I hope you like defense in your NBA Finals. The Crush prepare for their trip to Arena Bowl 19. And, of course, we'll take you back to Coors Field where the Rockies share their thoughts on Clint Parmes being out for the rest of the season. Tough, tough blow, as I'm sure you've elaborated all night, Drew.
Well, Dave, it's going to be 12 weeks for Parmes. The Rockies do hope they can get him back for a little bit of time in September, but it is a crushing blow. You are right. 9-3 on our Bank One game summary. Freddie Garcia, the story, he's retired 22 in a row. The only ball hit hard by the Rockies tonight was Brad Hopp's 3-run home run. The only other hit they had was with 1 out in the first. Eddie Garabito hit a flare just over the outstretched glove of the shortstop Juan Uribe. Now, based on the fact that there's action, Takatsu in the bullpen for the White Sox, and Freddie Garcia was seen shaking hands a few moments ago, Ozzie Guillen may say that's enough. I mean, what you saw tonight for 8 innings was perfect baseball.
Yeah, you can't pitch better than that.
I mean, 7 innings after the first.
Yep. Cannot pitch better, especially here.
Blaine Neal has come on for the Rockies. And Timo Perez will pinch hit, and Garcia is out of the ball game, so Perez rolls out on the first swing. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. With 1 out, Scott Pasednik comes up for the 6th time in the ball game. He's 2 for 5, a single and a double, and probably would have had a triple his last time up, but he stumbled going around second base. He has an RBI in the ball game, a stolen base, his 31st.
Yeah, if you'd have said before the game started that Podsednik would get 6 at bats, you know we'd have a problem tonight.
That's not good in a 9-inning ball game when guys are coming up for the 6th time. It's all right if it happens and you go 12 as the White Sox did yesterday and losing to the Indians 6-4. I'm still amazed at that number. The fact that, Jay, they've played 57 games and on 53 occasions they've had the lead. 53 of the 57 games they've held a lead.
They're in every game. It's that pitching. We talked about it. We've certainly seen the great example of it tonight. And Ebony need that big bullpen they have.
Well, only the disparity on the scoreboard will probably shut down Pasednik here.
Yeah, I don't think he'll run here.
Tadahito Iguchi 0 for 4 and a walk. Saw that shot a moment ago. Two great base stealers, Raines and Pasednik visiting. Rockies will play behind Pasednik. The career low hit game for Freddie Garcia was a 3-hit game back in 1999 against the Tigers when he was pitching for the Seattle Mariners. And tonight, in 8 innings, he gives up 2 hits. Neal gets the fastball past Iguchi.
A lot of it the way he did it tonight. He pitched. I mean, it wasn't like he was overpowering. He was overpowering in a different way, but it wasn't like he was throwing 110 miles an hour. Just change up, great slider. He just pitched terrific. Very, very strong.
1-2 slider, a good one by Neal. Well, for the second time tonight, Iguchi is a strikeout victim.
Nice slider from Neal here. Good placement, good break. A little bit like Garcia's sliders tonight.
Rowan pulls it on one hop to Atkins. He'll go the short way. And we will go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 9-3. The White Sox and Freddie Garcia in charge. 9-3, Chicago leading the Rockies in this first matchup between these two clubs. First ever matchup. Our sonic good replay of the game, unfortunately for Rockies fans, involves Freddie Garcia. I mean, sometimes you tip your hat, because when you see a performance like this, it is amazing. Freddie Garcia gave up 3 in the first, a 3-run home run off the bat of Brad Hopp. After that, he retired 22 in a row. We don't believe that's ever been done before at Coors Field. So the final numbers on Garcia as he gives away to Takatsu, who hasn't pitched since May 29th. You'll see that happen in the American League, especially when you have a great starting rotation like the Chicago White Sox. This guy struggled this year. He was very, very good last year. But anyhow, Garcia, 8 innings, 2 hits, Jay, 1 walk. He struck out 10. And he gives up 3 earned runs on the Hopp home run.
Dominant. Absolutely, we can describe him tonight.
It may be the most dominant pitching performance I've ever seen at Coors Field.
Pretty close. That I can't remember one that I've seen any better. Certainly couldn't pitch any better. And you get everybody out, that's pretty much the name of the game, isn't it?
He was perfect for 7 innings.
Yeah.
After that first. And again, the only ball hit hard in that first inning. He hit a batter. He hit help. He gave up a bloop single. And give Hopp credit. He hit the home run a ton to pretty much straightaway center field. Shaded a little bit toward left. There has not been a loud out since then. And the 3-0 is in there, 3-1 on Desi Relaford.
Base runner.
The first guy to touch first base for a Rocky since Brad Hopp jogged around the bases 2 hours ago in the first. Desi had to reintroduce himself to Davy Collins.
I mean, Davy's been over there just wanting somebody to come down to say hello to him the entire night, because Brad went flying by.
And Desi will take off as the White Sox showed very little interest in holding him on with the 6-run lead. No stolen base. Yeah, actually, Eddie Garabito probably swung the bat as well as anybody against Garcia. He had a long fly ball in the ball game. He had the bloop single, and he had a a decently hit ball at the first baseman, Paul Konerko. I'm looking. I'm trying to
say, you know when he's good is when you're looking for fly balls.
Yeah,
he hit the fly ball hard. That's when you're looking.
Yeah. He really got under that pop-up, but boy, it was high pop-up though. Speaking of pop-ups, Iguchi has a Pacific Rim out. Takatsu with the pitch, Iguchi with the catch. Thought you were in Cebu for a moment, didn't you?
Tokyo. This guy finished second last year in American League Rookie of the Year balloting, and Bobby Crosby of the A's, and spectacular season. But this year his ERA's up, a lot of hits per inning. He isn't nearly as effective.
See what Helton can do against him. Todd saw him in spring training, and Helton pops it up left side. Uribe going out. He'll be called off by Pasetnik. Now time for a Gatorade Player of the Game. Jay, you want to weigh in? Throw in a vote?
I think it's pretty easy. It's a guy who was on the mound for Seattle, that's what I always remember him as, for the White Sox for 8 innings tonight. Freddie Garcia, without a doubt, Player of the Game.
No question. Our Gatorade Player of the Game, 28-year-old Freddie Garcia from Caracas, Venezuela. Two gone. Preston Wilson 0 for 3. Preston trying to stay away from the golden sombrero. He's got 3 punch outs tonight.
And that was tough duty, standing in there against Freddie Garcia tonight.
Yeah, that didn't look like a whole lot of fun.
Nope.
Two 2-0 on Wilson. Quiet night around baseball. Very quickly, Baltimore over Pittsburgh 4-3. The Angels beat Atlanta 4-2. The Yankees lost to Milwaukee 4-3. Toronto beat the Cubs 4-1. St. Louis hammered Boston. Doesn't count as much now.
No.
As it did last October, 7-1.
And the fans there gave Renteria his first game back a standing ovation in his first at bat. It was a terrific moment. I happened to catch it, and it was really classy St. Louis fans.
But you know what, and Jay, as many times as we've gone into Busch Stadium, that is not a surprise.
No,
some of the most knowledgeable baseball fans in the country. 3-2.
Great ovation, and of course, when he grounds out, they all cheer. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But it was really classy, really a nice moment tonight when I was watching with Renteria in his first at bat in a Red Sox uniform at St. Louis.
3-2 to Wilson, and he's gone on strikes, and the Rockies have a forgettable evening, fortunately now in the rearview mirror. Freddie Garcia and the White Sox win game 1 of this 3-game set. The first